All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Coffee Q&A, our daily coffee live stream where we talk about coffee, answer questions, and whatever happens every day, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. So what's going on? We're back again in the studio here after a whirlwind day yesterday in Mead, Pennsylvania, where I went to go see the Eclipse. If you happen to join me for that, thank you very much. I hope that was at least some kind of interesting. I know the image quality of the Eclipse itself wasn't what you can see from NASA, but I'm not quite NASA, unfortunately. But yesterday, the whole idea for originally with this eclipse thing was to go and brew coffee during the eclipse. But gosh, it was so like you just got carried away with everything, right? Because actually, I didn't realize the totality started or the whole process started around 2 o'clock, and so we're standing around talking, and suddenly one of the guys that was hanging out there, he's like, "It started," and I was like, "What? What? I have to get everything finished." So Mom's with us. Good morning, Mom. Oh, thank you, Mom. I appreciate you enjoyed that. And Craig's with us as well. And Q&A, aloha Q&A. How's things in Krungtep? Hopefully they're going well. There's actually there's an annular eclipse happening in October in South America, at the very tip of South America, at the southern tip. So you can go to either Chile or Argentina and watch it there. And that's supposed to have, because the annular is the is when the moon passes in front of the sun, but it's smaller, right? It's farther away from Earth, so it seems smaller. And they say the ring of fire is really like impressive. That happens in October. That might be worth going. And then there's another one in 2026 in August that's going to be in Europe. It'll be in Iceland, Greenland, and then Spain and Portugal. So that might be something to check out. All right, so today we're going to do, since we weren't able to do the brewing yesterday, we do the brewing today. So I have my little kit here. I haven't unpacked it because, so we're going to use where is it? So I've got my mug. We've got the MSR titanium kettle. We've also got the GSI Coffee Rocket. This is going to be our brewing device for today, the Coffee Rocket. And I'm going to show you something that I never do. This is a hand grinder because I was going to be out there. And like, you know what, I say this often, is like, if you're going to go somewhere, just pre-grind it and put it in a plastic bag. It's so much easier, so much more convenient. But I don't know. I felt moved by the moment, so I thought, we will grind this by hand. We've also got our scale, our little trusty Timu scale. What else do we have here? Oh, I got the coffee. So we've got our House Nation coffee. Here it is, right there, nice and fresh. Another canister, and then we have our stove. And for the longest time, I was using this stove called by a company, MSR, Mountain Science Safety Research. I think it's the name of the company. And MSR is a great company. I have this white gas stove, and this is a new one. This is a new one. This is using the canisters, these gas canisters. These are butane canisters, and they're really simple to use, although they are a bit, I think, I can't say they're anything, but they're probably a bit wasteful because of the whole nature of them, right? So you just basically have this little tiny stove, and basically there's wings that come out. So these wings all fold up, so it's nice and compact in its little case. And you just kind of fold it out, swing it up, swing it up. Oh, speaking of which, Q&A, I saw on your Instagram today some of the work that you had done in Salt Lake City. It looks fantastic. I am curious, and I'm presuming that it's not all like this, but I'm presuming that not all of your work that's being done for clients is actual, um, for lack of a better word, tribal ancestry, right? Some of it looked just more like nice design work rather than necessarily telling the story about your ancestry and your family's legacy. Is that a correct statement? All right, so we're just going to take this and screw it on. It's been a while since I've used it. Oh, so it just screws on normally. I was thinking it might be backwards threaded. And then you're just going to take this. Oh, we do need there is no igniter. So I need to let me grab something. I'm going to walk over here. This is one of the issues with this type of stove. Since it doesn't have an igniter, you do have to bring some kind of lighting source. So, something with a flint is perfectly fine. That should work. Today, I'm going to use a lighter. So basically, you just take this stove. There's a gas valve here. You just basically turn on. You can hear that. So we're just going to turn this on and then light the fire. And that's it. And that's pretty. Oh gosh, I shouldn't put that. I should offset it from the lens above it, right? That would be. But as you can see, it's got a lot of heat. It's putting out a lot of. I'm going to burn that camera. So it does have a lot of heat. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take that and we're going to put this over here so it doesn't burn the camera. Then we're going to take our little MSR kettle. And these are all things that you could actually, well, with the exception of this and this, these are things you could actually use in a backpacking situation. Right, so we got our MSR kettle. This is I believe, this is a titanium kettle, I think. Although it feels more like anodized aluminum. Maybe it's not. So we're going to take that. We're going to pour the water in. We don't need to have a lot of water in there, just enough we're going to use. Comes with a little lid. Put that on top, and then, whoops, we're going to put that here. And then give it a light. So I'm going to set it to its lower setting just because we have time. There's another gas in case you run out. So the product we're going to be using today is the Coffee Rocket. This is made by GSI. I saw this at REI the other day, and I was like, oh, that looks kind of interesting. I'll get this for the Eclipse. And Keone says, Mahalo, all of the work is traditionally based all of the work is traditionally based that reflects the ancestry of the person who it is for. Each piece is unique. I never repeat the composition of designs. Oh, okay. Oh, so all of them are, because there was one that had, I think it had a diamond shape or something, and it looked like there was some kind of design inside it. And I was like, oh, is that more of a fanciful work, or is it actually detailing the history? Okay, so let's have a look here. This is our GSI Coffee Rocket. It's basically kind of this like little conical filter type of thing that has a metal filter inside and wings, and will allow you to put on your cup so you can keep everything very compact. There is a GSI mug that it is kind of designed to work with, but it will fit in anything that's vessel, right? So let's open this up. I have not opened this up yet. This is my first time, actually. So there is a little bit of a tab here. Just got to pull that over. Nice packaging design. Oh, wow, that's interesting. So we got a little booklet here, Coffee Rocket. Oh, it's a big booklet. Very nice. And then we have the actual rocket itself. So it comes wrapped in plastic. Does this come out? I don't know what's going on here. All right, there we go. So that's the rocket. And it's this insert is wedged in there. So I think it unscrews. Oh no, it just pulls out, just friction. So there's a stem here. And then as you can see, there's a stem and there's 4 holes. Oh, no, there's a stem. Oh, the stem has a hole in it. Well, I have no idea how this is really supposed to work. Let's look at the Coffee Rocket, but before I start telling you stuff, and I don't even know how to use it. Okay, extend legs. So these are the extend. Oh, so this little basket comes out. Okay, there we go. That comes out. The legs open like this. And then we're going to use a mug. This is a little thermal mug my nephew gave to me for Christmas, I think, many years ago. So that sits on top. And then, oh, here we are. Here is the instructions. So I think this goes in here, right? So that fits in like such. And then you add the coffee here. Now, the coffee, they say, is only about 16 grams or 15 grams it'll fit. And then from here, we'll add, then this goes on top like such. And then you add the water and then it drips through. So it kind of acts like a tricolate or drip assist. And then this open air stem, I think, just allows for displacement. All right, okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to get some coffee and we're going to measure out 15 grams. Oops. Goodness. 14.2. Ooh, that smells nice. All right, there we go. 15.1. Now we're going to take that and we're going to get to our Zassenhaus. It feels like there's coffee in here. Let's just make sure that, not really, but we'll get rid of all that. We're going to add our coffee in. So this is the Zassenhaus grinder. The Zassenhaus grinders are the classic German grinder, right? This is actually given to me by one of my clients, my guests, David Clark. He's, longtime client of one of our regulars and has become a friend, a treasured friend. And so this is all old school Zassenhaus. I have no idea how old this one. He had this for many, many years, sitting in his house. And as you can see here, it is, it's all metal. There's we saw I don't know if you saw the conical burrs inside there before, but these are excellent, solid grinders. Let's give a couple grind to see how our grind setting is. I think that's all right. Keone says, I think you're thinking of the hexagon design. I use a protective design as well as a hexagonal design, both of which are NOAA free of responsibility, but are pertinent. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think it was hexagonal. I think that is exactly the one of those. It was like a few swipes in the ones you offered. So do you have people that are non-Polynesian, of non-Polynesian descent, that are interested in this kind of thing? And then if so, I'm curious to know, like, how do you figure out how to present their lineage, which I'm presuming it comes from the presentation of the tattoo art is done in a way that is of Polynesian style, but for people that without Polynesian heritage, if they're even interested in it. All right, so we're going to grind, and this is something you don't see me do very often because I really enjoy this. Well, I guess I do enjoy it. It's not that bad. One thing is that when I was starting out in the business, traveling with my mentor, I was the FNG, and this is what I would do at 6 a.m, which I didn't really enjoy. Let's just go buy coffee somewhere. Why do we have to make it? I don't want to make it. My mentor used to travel with this, a Zassenhaus. This is a bigger one than this. A bunch of coffee, he would also bring a kettle, like a electric kettle. And then he would also bring like this. Bodum used to make this big padded plastic rubber French press. So he'd bring that along. It was kind of fun. But I don't recommend this. Like for home use, I never recommend this. Unless you really like want to do it. Because, you know, we would be done by now. Look at here's the quality of the grind. Really fine. Fine texture. I think that's probably too fine, maybe. Maybe. I'm glad we're just doing 16 grams instead of, or 15 grams instead of 24. How much more do we have left? And see, I've been doing all this work. And look, there's still lots of coffee in there. This is not. This is why I put the heater on the low setting, because oh, goodness. Oh, gosh, there's still so much more in there. I know a lot of people work out different techniques for their grinding method. Like, I know some guys are doing something like, or whatever they're doing, and I'm just like, I don't want to figure that out. Why would I want to do that to myself? All right, I'm going to stop the water because, you know, I'm just wasting butane. That's kind of boiling already. And then there's a whole bunch of coffee professionals that like to tout this and promote this. I just want to, I don't understand. I think that every coffee professional that promotes this type of grinding should do this in their professional environment. Like, you want to make a coffee for a customer, you've got a line of 100 people, well, then you should grind it by hand, because you're like out there saying that these grinders are awesome. If they're awesome, they could handle it. Yeah, that's it. Craig says, unfortunately, Zassenhaus quality declined when they moved out of Germany, and they're, oh, really? Well, then I didn't know that. I'm glad that I didn't buy the newer ones. So we will negate that. We will cancel that Zassenhaus. Actually, I think that's how a lot of them are. Like, you know, we talked before about like the Stanley. Like, this is the 80s, 90s era Stanley. Solid builds. But the newer ones, you know, they're just, I mean, I guess they're nice, but they are, you know, they're really just manufactured overseas. And the company that owns, oh, let's see, I'm making a mess. Good Lord, I'm making a mess. What? The company that makes them overseas is, you know, it's just a marketing. There's a marketing company here, and they don't do any manufacturing here. They don't do anything here. So they send it all away and then just have someone make it for them. So it's not really, the value proposition isn't there as it used to be when we were younger. And Keone says, I do have non-Polynesian people come to me. Many native cultures have a tattoo tradition, and I've had the honor of sitting at the feet of some, such as Wang Od from Uskalan, and learning from them. Ah, nice. I once thought about getting a tattoo when I was like a lot younger in the 90s. I thought about getting a tattoo, and I was going to get like an armband because I was still living in Honolulu at the time. And I was like, you know, that was the big thing. And then as I was reading about it, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I'm totally wrong on this, but like, I realized that I was reading that armband tattoos were really this is when they were super in vogue. Right? Armband tattoos were traditionally for women, and that the men would have either the moko, like in Aotearoa, or they would have, like my friend Ben has it all the way down. But the armbands were never a part of it. And then like, so there was that, and then I didn't really have a heritage, a lineage to write about, or a style. And then I looked into my own family's history, and there's no history of like tattooing in my family. So I was like, no, I don't really, there's nothing, that's why I never decided to go for it. Because for me, I didn't want something that would just be like the whim of the day. I would want something that would talk about heritage and history. Like I see those guys, and they're really beautiful. Some of these tattoos, like in the coffee business, they'll get like La Marzocco tattooed on themselves. They'll get a coffee tree tattooed on them. And I'm like, despite the fact that I've been in coffee now for over 20 years, I don't think I'd want to have a tattoo of that, because what if I leave the industry and then I'm like, I don't know. But no judgment there, just my own personal observation that informs my personal choices, not really about anything else. Okay, are we getting closer? Okay, we're almost there. I'm sweating lightly. There's probably a moist glistening on my body somewhere. All right, we're done there. Keone says, for others who do not know of their traditions, I just interview them and create a temporary design based on designs that are nice or that are Noah, so that they do not conflict with any. Oh, very good, very good. All right, so here is our ground coffee. That's very exciting. Very fine looking. Let's feel it. Oh, this is probably too fine. This will probably take half an hour to brew. So we've got 15 grams of ground coffee, and then we're going to put that in here. I'm going to take this off of the base. Oh, I can't take that off of the base because that comes apart. Look, here's something odd. So this is it. Okay, so it's got this little dimple down there, but if I take this off, it's actually open. So there's a small gap between this and this. So I'm concerned that maybe coffee can fall out. I don't know. We're just going to take it and try to get it in here. This is what we'd have to be doing in the field, in the middle of the. I'm going to lose some of this. We're just going to fill it up. Okay, I'm not going to worry about making it pretty. Oh, it does really hold that much, though. All right, this is stuff we're just going to. This Opala we're going to get rid of. Okay, so now we've got our thing here, and it fills up pretty much. 15 grams is filled up pretty much the whole thing. We're just going to push this on there, and that's going to give us a seal, so all the coffee will be contained in the chamber. I did get well, am I getting a little bit? I'm saying that I got a little bit here on my palm. This a piece right there. Maybe it came from the bottom. I don't know. So from this point, we'll just fill it up and let it run. Okay, so let's turn our heat back on. Now I'm going to pump it up. We need to get our scale and our cup. Put that on top. It's going to give us, I'll zero that out. Right now, we're going to need to have, I think that's boiling. We're going to need to have, oh, that's definitely boiling. We're going to need to have 8, I think this makes 8, 15 grams, 15 to 7.5 ounces of coffee, which is about 8 ounces. So we'll say 225 grams of water. So we're going to add there. All right, so let us start. We're going to add the water. We're just going to add it. So there's pretty small orifices. So I'm just going to add the entire, well, let's do a little bit of a bloom. We'll do a 30-second bloom, 64, good 65 grams. Now that's slowly starting to filter through. Oh, there's even a couple drops already coming out. Okay, good. So that's starting. I don't know if you can see that in there. So 25 grams, 25 seconds. We're going to go, I said 200. Let's go to 2. There's a little bit of stuff floating around. I think that's coffee. I hope that's coffee. I hope it's not just debris. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It gets filtered out, right? We're gonna do 220. Let's do 215. All right, 215. Now we're just gonna let this sit here and brew. Minute 30. We'll see how long it takes for it to flow, and we'll check it out there. And then Keone also says the armband was actually created by my teacher, Suasuluape Paolo, for Peace Corps volunteers. Oh, really? I didn't know that. There are many Filipino traditional tattoo traditions. I'm sure it's not that I don't think that, not that I don't realize that Filipinos do have a tattoo tradition, but when I looked in my family's history, like, my parents, my grandparents, and then beyond them, there was never that utilization of tattooing in our particular family's history. So that was another reason why I was like, well, I don't really have anything that I don't have anything to follow along, which was slightly disappointing at the time. But over the years, I haven't necessarily missed it. All right, here we go. We're still going. It's going slowly, like it's dripping. We're definitely going to be longer than 4 minutes now. I would have to say that this is probably a result of the grind. The grind was super fine. Like that grind was probably closer to espresso grind. So in this kind of situation, you'd want to coarsen it up. I mean, we're pushing 3 minutes now, right? So I'm curious, this guy that created the armband, Suasuluape Paulo, that name, is it Samoan, or is it from somewhere? Where's the guy from? Paulo. I'm not. Paulo sounds like an interesting, maybe like Filipino name. And is there much interest in your style of tattooing in Thailand? If you're in Krung Thep, is it? I mean, I realize that you moved there because your wife is from there, but I mean, like, do you find a lot of people that are having tattoos done in your town from you? All right, we're still brewing along here. Let's have a look here. Look, gosh, it doesn't look terribly exciting from this viewpoint, does it? But you can kind of see that it is dripping. Oh, oh gosh. This whole thing is collapsing. Don't lift it up. Don't lift because it will come apart. Michael's with us. What's going on, Michael? How are you, man? Yeah, this is supposed to be our setup from yesterday. We're 4 minutes, 28 seconds now in this brew. If I brewed this during the eclipse would be over. I must say though, the eclipse was pretty wild. Like, it was my second time doing it, and I don't remember being as excited by it, or as, I mean, it definitely was awe-inspiring the last time, but I don't know, it was different this year because last time I was in this parking lot of this school, and it was the middle of summer, so there's no people, there was really no one around, so I was just kind of alone. But this time I was in a town square, and there was tons of people, hundreds, maybe 1,000 people all around. And so in the hours leading up to it, I'm talking to this family that's from the Lehigh Valley, this other guy that's got this crazy, like, not telescope, but like he's kind of 3D printed this binocular setup that has like this great filter, and like it fills the imaging with the sun. I was like, gosh, my video is not that good. I was really disappointed. So And Keone says, yes, unfortunately, colonization and Christianity wiped out Filipino tattoos, except for the, yeah, and I'm definitely from a very colonized family. Like my bloodline has a lot of not just native Filipino Malay style of blood, but also a bit of Spanish from the conquerors, and then a bit of Chinese from the merchant class that came in. So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting in that respect. And Dan's asking, are you still going to be at the Chicago show? Yes, I'm going to Chicago on Thursday. So that's another thing that we're going to talk about here. There will be no live stream on Thursday. I will try to do a live stream on Friday from the show. There's a lot of stuff happening. What are we doing on this week? Well, I've been trying to set a schedule because otherwise it's just, for me, it's just madness there. Like it's either I'm in utter complete and utter madness, or just kind of like, stillborn and not don't know what to do. It's like, what am I doing here? I don't know. But let's say, okay, so Friday, so let's say, so Thursday I'm traveling there because my flight on Thursday is at 10:30. So there's no way to do the live stream it, maybe from the airport. Maybe we'll see. But there's nothing to how exciting is that? So we had a bunch of cuppings starting at 8 a.m. The guys from the Philippines are like, we're having a cupping on Friday at 8 a.m. I'm like, I was hoping to sleep in and chill. So that starts 8 a.m. on Chicago time. So that's 9 a.m. here. And then there's a Gold Mountain coming. So maybe we'll be able to do a live stream from the tail end of the Philippine cupping. Yeah, maybe. And Michael says, do you have any recommendations for a coffee in Boston? Just curious, since you travel, for coffee in Boston, how are we doing? Let's look here. We're getting closer. There's still some water in here. We are at 7 minutes, 33 seconds. So this is going to be a long brew, probably with a little bit of over extractiveness. Boston, George Howell. I mean, I still got a big bag of his coffee here. George Howell, he is one of the original coffee master. Oh, can you see that? Here, this is George Howell. George Howell Coffee. He's like the godfather of the coffee business. He had a place called Coffee Connection, I think it was called in Boston for many years. And Starbucks bought him out because they wanted to get the Frappuccino recipe. So they bought him out for that. So very well respected, great place. Another place to go to is Barismo. Barismo, those guys are psychopaths. You should definitely go visit them because, if you can get to this location where the owners are, go to that one because I'm not sure where they are, which one that is. I've been to two of them, but those guys are psychopaths, which is a good thing in this business. You want to go to places that are owned by psychopaths because they're the ones that are like super hardcore about the coffee. They're really meticulous. They're really focusing on it. Totally worth the time. Like I'm heading to, after we go to Chicago next week, I'm going to be in Las Vegas for the National Association of Broadcasters show. And then I'm driving to go visit another psychopath friend of mine, John P.K. Keone was just there. So I'm heading there next week, probably Thursday. I'll be at his shop. And definitely seek out the psychopath. So those are two places that I think are really well worth going to. If you're interested in weird experiences with tea, that's actually difficult to get to because you have to park, and it's like you have to go to like a parking garage. You have to walk, and you're like, it's in the middle of this bridge. But there's a place called the Boston Tea Party Museum, and it's very touristy. Like you go there, and you're like, you go on they give you a tour. You go on this boat, and you kind of act like you're like raiding it, and you throw these like bales of tea overboard. It's kitschy, it's corny, it's touristy, but it's kind of fun. But the interesting thing about it is that you can just go there and go to their cafe. They have a gift store and a cafe. You go to the cafe in the back. They have these teas. You can drink tea there and buy tea, and you can have like croissants and whatever. And then what I did is they have like maybe 8 different teas. So I went down and tasted each one. There's this one tea that's and these are all teas from the colonial era that they would have thrown overboard. There's this Chinese tea called Kongu, Congou, that I love. I really loved that. I was like, wow, this has really got this nice depth of complexity of flavor. And I bought a tin of it. I was like sucking it down for a long time. I run out. I found another thing at last year's show. Somebody was selling something similar. I bought that. Or no, actually, they left it at their booth at the end of the show and they abandoned it. So I was like, well, I got to take that home. I'm not advocating scavenging, but sometimes one must revert to such tactics. But that's a Kongu. I think it's a fabulous tea, fabulous tea. So I would say check that out if you have the time, if you want to go down there. And then Q&A says, Paulo was a Samoan tattooist that I learned how to use the traditional tools. Yes, there's a lot of interest in this style of tattooing. As in the right hands, it gets less painful. Oh, okay, okay. And then Craig says, heavily overcast here, so the Eclipse was bowling. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that. It was a little bit overcast where I was, unfortunately. It got darker here during the wildfire. Oh, not as fun. Not as fun for sure. And then Michael says that we'll be there for a Nora Jones concert. Now looking, oh yeah, definitely go check out those two shops. Really lovely. There is another, oh, I don't know if that restaurant's still open. We went to this restaurant that my sister-in-law's friends own. It's a tasting bar. I'll find out before you go. Let me know before you go, and I will find out. All right, so we finished our brewing. We've just been talking here. Took a good 9 minutes or so. Let's have a look at the inside. So yeah, we definitely a lot of this slowdown is because we just had too fine a grind. So here's our coffee in the thermal mug. Oh, definitely heavy. Definitely heavy. Not terrible. Like it's still the House Nation, so there is a little bit of sweetness. It's definitely a heavier brew because of the grind settings. Not the most enjoyable form of it, but not a terrible version. Yeah. All right. Well, this is the Coffee Rocket. I think it's kind of interesting. It would be interesting to play with it more. There is a little bit of sediment here that has floated up through the. Can see that there. Let's see. Can you see? Yeah, there's a little bit of sediment at the bottom. That is, little coffee particulates that have floated up through these holes, and not that really makes a difference because it's just in the water, just extracting. Let's see here. How about this? Everything looks so dark for some reason. Then we have it just comes out, and I guess you just kind of tap this out. Yeah, fairly easy enough. And tap that out and you're pretty much done. Rinse it all out. You should be good. And just make sure you check your grind setting. I kind of, honestly, when I did the first little bit of grinding, I thought, oh yeah, it's probably going to be a bit too fine. I was lazy to change the setting. How might I offset that? Maybe add more hot water to offset that extra brewness. And now it's a little bit diluted. Maybe not the best idea. But you know what? One never knows until you try it and make mistakes. So give it a try. Be sure to try different things in your brewing approach because you never know when you're going to find something serendipitous and just wonderful that makes a whole world of difference for your coffee experience or maybe any kind of experience. All right. Oh gosh, we're running almost 40 minutes. All right, I guess that's all we have today. Be back again tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Or let me actually call it bean time. Same bean time, same bean channel. 10 a.m. Eastern time. So hope that helped or something. Thanks very much for tuning in. Hope you have a great day today. Mom, you have a beautiful day as well. How's Ramadan holding up for you? Is it almost, it's not over yet, right? We have not had the Eid holiday yet, where you go and eat like en masse. I remember I went to the Philippines once and it happened to fall on the Eid holiday. And I was like, wow, we're celebrating a holiday here. This is awesome. Everything was closed. I was able to move around the city really quickly. So amazing. All right. Well, thank you very much. Have a great day. See you guys tomorrow.